everyone, my name's Lavonne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited for this series and I hope you stick around for it because I have lots of other little tips coming along the way, because I'm going to share with you my core values that have completely shaped how I've taught the bundle birth class. And really like sort of our approach in labor and birth. Now this approach is, yes, like something I stand for, but I stand for it because I've been a part of over 5,000 births. I've taught tens of thousands of labor and delivery nurses. And this is like the core key tips that I want to give you to share ways that you can set yourself up for success. And if you understand these concepts, they're going to help your birth be better. So the very first one I want to talk about today is something that I am so incredibly passionate about. In fact, the last 4 years, I have taught hundreds of hours of work related to the physiologic birth process. I talk about this in the bundle birth class. There's an entire section on it. But one of my core values, and I want to impart on you, and I want you to begin to conceptualize and think about for yourself, is that really I believe that birth is normal, which seems very lame, but let me get to it. It's a physiologic process that can be optimized. So let me break that down for you, okay? So what I believe when I say that birth is normal, I think there's a stigma, and actually I know there's a stigma, especially in the medical world, where we don't trust labor and birth, okay? Now I want you to think about it for yourself. When you think about giving birth, do you ever consider, or maybe you thought about this before you gave birth, of well, if I can give birth naturally or vaginally, okay? Or if I can breastfeed, if I can cope without an epidural, all these ifs. There is this deep distrust or mistrust of the body that exists in our culture today. Think back to the last, however long ago that was, when the normal process for labor and birth was, you saw your mom give birth, you saw your sister give birth, you saw your aunts give birth, and everyone sort of just surrounded with this, this is where the concept comes from of it's it takes a village, right? That it was normal, you call the midwife and the midwife would come in and you do these home births and it would be this birth was just a part of the culture. And in many cultures it still is, but in the US, it's really not, right? That we're so disconnected from our bodies. And so part of my belief and concept and what I want to bring to you is to begin to think about birth as normal and natural. Guess what? If you are pregnant and you don't have your doctor telling you that you have an actual medical indication for a C-section, right now, you're having a vaginal birth. You're having a normal, natural birth, right? Unless there's something that comes up that sort of tips the scale and is actually, this is safer. A vaginal birth is the safest option for you. Now again, flex and flow on that. Listen to your doctor. There's lots of nuances to this, but in general, most of you are going to give birth vaginally. And so we have to begin to approach birth in a way where we believe and we function through the lens that the body is designed for birth. It has all of the normal, natural components that can fit together to help the baby be birthed vaginally and safely. We have to understand labor's natural progression, because when you understand that the hormones work together, positions, movement, that your body's giving you cues, you have instinct that helps you navigate the labor process, it helps you work with the body versus against it. And unfortunately, the way birth culture has become, so much of the way that we approach birth is sort of this it's sort of an assumption that it's not going to work. And so I want to tell you, as an expert in birth and somebody who is a leader in this movement, that birth, for the most part, works. Now, for those of you that are well, but it didn't for me, or but I heard this story, or what if it doesn't? That just means that there are certain components of the physiology, meaning the structures in the body, that didn't perfectly align for whatever reason. And you know what? That's the flex and flow of labor. That's the type that in life, not everything goes as planned. I dreamt of being a millionaire by now, and I am not. Someday, maybe, right? But that's just sort of the way that life goes. And so we need to understand that even if it doesn't go perfectly as expected, you grew this baby. This baby was supported through a pregnancy, and your body is amazing for doing so. And so what we teach in the bundle birth class is how to support those hormones, how to set you up with your movement and your positioning to help optimize, meaning make labor work the best that it can, while also understanding that medical interventions are sometimes necessary. Sometimes they're life-saving. Sometimes they help you get that vaginal birth. And so What I really believe and what I want you to consider for your labor birth beyond is that when you combine those two and start with physiology, understand and trust in birth, know that it's normal, recognize the normal and celebrate it and help support the body to do what it knows how to do, while also understanding that certain complications can happen and that medical interventions are available when needed, when used appropriately, when it makes sense, when it can help you or your baby have better outcomes, meaning be safer. That combination to me is like the perfect harmony of what we're trying to get at in the medical system. And so my tip for you is begin to believe in birth. That when you start to doubt yourself, recognize what your body has already done, whether in pregnancy or in life, that it has healed a wound in the past, that you have had a headache and then not had a headache in the past. That's physiology. That's the incredible power of your body. And of course, I'm going to invite you to take the bundle birth class and learn about all of those different pieces of the physiology, how they all fit together, and how you can actually pick up something to control and optimize them and set yourself up for a more positive experience, a faster labor, a smoother labor, a safer labor, hopefully for you in the future. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe down below. Let me know in the comments how you've seen this for your labor birth, for your life. And then until next time, don't forget to flex and flow, and I will see you so soon. Bye. Take one. Ow! Next! There's no bloopers on that one. Nice.